That's probably a long enough intro, I guess. I started a little late too. Hey everybody, welcome to RPG Help Desk. On a week where it's just me and you and you and you and all of you. Hi. How's everybody doing? Oh, and Carnadine starting us off with a gift sub to Lammy. Thank you. It's a podcast about halflings. You're scared of the head pandas? Do you need me to change them? They're not. They're poison mushrooms. Hang on. But I have bat wings and horns. I should switch them out because I have multiple. So why not switch them out? Poisonous head pandas? Yep, poisonous head pandas. It's look, if you don't have poisonous head pandas on your headphones, like what are you even doing? Seriously. I already have a bunch of questions. We have a few questions from the other week, not well, I think some from last week and then also the week before. And then several people brought up some stuff in Discord, and then a few people brought up questions before we even started. So heck yeah, we can get started. Oh, I do allow that comment. I think it saw bending over and was like, "How does one submit a question, Comrade Kaiju?" You just put it in chat, and then hopefully I see it. And if I don't, you go, "Hey, here's my question again. You didn't see it." I will try to say if I see it. Oh, great question. We'll get to that. Beauty indeed. Hey, Talk Talk. What's wrong with Bend Over? Ben's got a real unfortunate name. That's what's up with him. Evan, this I'm going to start with your question, which was how good is the experience in partaking in an online tabletop RPG campaign or a one-shot with strangers over Discord? Or, some other thing. It doesn't have to be Discord. It's really like any RPG. It's going to be group dependent. And when you're joining a group of strangers, you don't know if you're going to have fun. Like, there's a few things you can do to tell if you might, like, if the people running the game say the attitude they want, if you know people who have played with these people before, and then you can have something with that. They might have things listed out of like, oh, this is a combat heavy thing. This is a mystery based game. This is, and like being able to have stuff like that to show you kind of what to expect. Especially in like maybe not a crash course, but sort of a crash course session 0 thing where it's like, here's the expectations of what to have. Those will all help immensely on whether or not you will be having fun. It's an antique store with a weird ass outdoor display. Oh, Deebs, if you share those pictures, I will absolutely look at them. Yeah, so it depends. There's things like that kind of like with the normal campaign you can use to try and help. Part of it is like go in with an open mind. Go in being willing to be flexible. So like if I was playing at a similar thing but live where I went to a con, signed up for a game, and showed up, and there was like one of the characters was a nun, and it was like a supernatural game. And I was like, oh, heck yeah. But I don't want to just play a nun. I'm going to play like I think this should be like a drag queen whose persona is a nun. And I had all these ideas of how to make that work. And then the game started, and everyone else was playing it very seriously. And I was like, oh. And my character hadn't been introduced yet. So I was like, ooh, let's change this. So while I had all these things, ideas like what I wanted to do, it's like, okay, well, what elements of this can I take to apply to the game that everyone else is playing? So you need to go into it with an attitude similar to that of like being willing to change to fit the vibe because you don't know what that's going to be. And the first few encounters might end up shaping that. So do that. But I would say it's worth it. Like try and join a game, but go in with that kind of attitude. Does that answer your question or because I'm very curious. Oh no, there's more questions coming in. Oh, so many. Crime Bastard writing this down. You're now on the list. You're on the list. Would I rather be a vampire or a werewolf? Easy question to answer. Vampire. I think vampires are cooler, but also either one would be kind of fun. Hey, Strawmod. You can ask in here. Vampires can enjoy garlic, but only for a limited amount of time. It depends on the lore. Okay, I think there was another question in YouTube, but I might have missed it. Hang on, I'm checking in YouTube. Sorry for moments of silence. Cause dang, lots of chats today. Has one submitted question. I think that's a question, Comrade Kaiju. I just copied it as if it were, so I guess we'll talk about it. It does. I'm also joining, says Complex, Evan Complex, joining a D&D Discord and getting random DMs. Quickly escaped from that server. Oh, yeah. That's not good. Come here, wish you all a good night/morning as I'm heading out. Oh, bye, Voidcoat. Why not werewolf vampire? It's a good point, Evan. Why not werewolf vampire? I think it's still, well, I don't know. I don't like the uncontrollableness of werewolves. Like that's the vampire is like, yeah, you got a bunch of things that like you can't do, but like it's set. Where werewolves, it's like, oh, it was a full moon, and then I'm out of control, and I don't like that. I don't enjoy the feeling of being out of control. It's why one of the reasons I like don't drink much is because I don't like a slight buzz is fun. Anything more than that is not fun. So I feel like werewolf is just that, but with like super strength and murderous tendencies, which like nah. Meant to be a cry for help / question, says Comrade. All right, we'll get to this cry for help. Don't worry. Being a mummy would suck, would all agree? Yeah, probably. Mummies are just zombies with bandages, right? And sometimes sentience. Reminds me of someone else. Squishmallows, what's up? Vampire eating garlic fries? That's funny. I actually have a vampire squishmallow right up there. You can't see him. That I got for like 75 cents at an Aldi after Halloween. Is not eating garlic fries. I should get him some garlic fries. Hey, Gildan Yetic with $20. Thank you so much for that. So speaking as someone who started over 80 Baldur's Gate 3 characters, okay, I'm definitely overthinking it. But do you think there's rules to coming up with the perfect player character for you? Great question. Watch this. I can even do this, and then everybody can see the question. I yes and no. The perfect player character for you is the one that you are most excited about playing. That could very well change from game to game or even from campaign to campaign. I really enjoy my pharmacy dropout superhero with no superpowers in that game. Really fun, very smart character. All because she's so much weaker than everybody else, the game is to always think ahead of people, and like that's her most valuable asset, and that's fun to play as a person. It's also fun. It's just as much fun to play a clueless himbo. Like a completely different setup. No intelligence, just do the right thing. I barely thinking about what's happening in front of me, let alone what down the line or countering something that might happen or contingency plans. And it's just, what do I want to play for this game? What do I want to play for this campaign? What do I want to play for this one shot? Like whatever that is. That is the best. You do 80 Baldur's Gate 3 characters, cool. Because you wanted to try a barbarian gnome. Good. And then you wanted to try a orc warlock? A warlock? I don't know. Sure. Yeah, you want to try that. Do it. Like, if you were excited for it, then that's the best answer. And that answer can change repeatedly, and that's totally fine. That's my answer. Most excited about playing. Sounds like a great rule of thumb. Yeah, like you. There's another question I have in here that unfortunately is very similar answer. Um, but like, yeah, just what do you want to do? What do you want to experiment with? There's like, oh, I really want to see how using ranged weapons work in this system. So I'm going to make a gunslinger, and that's about as far into character development as you got. Okay, that's all right. Build from there. That's what you were excited about. You wanted to try some mechanics. Leona says, I like finding a random gimmick, secret, or mechanic as a basis for a character. Gimmick can sometimes be a joke. I think it would be funny to build a character out from there, or like my barbarian, who was entirely a joke about her reference for the band Dragon Force. Nice. Yeah, like that's a thing. If that's what you want, build off of that, have fun with it. Give yourself some room to expand and change and do silly things or serious things or whatever with it. Have that room to grow. West March is our server. I recently stopped feeling my fun till fun up till that point in wisdom warlock. I felt like he was stuck in a role-playing rut, and I didn't feel like personal evolution I saw for him, so I got retired. So he got retired. Yeah, absolutely. That's okay. You can also have someone who you had fun with and then you're done with and you change. That's happened to me with like in-game things too, where it's like sometimes it's like this character isn't fitting the campaign, I'm going to retire them or like have them go somewhere else. Or sometimes in-universe stuff, I had a character who learned a very important thing, and like the morality of the character was like this character could not continue with the quest they were on. They had to solve this other problem that the game was not going to be about. So it was like, oh, I'm going to retire this character because this is a fitting end for them to leave this particular group. So yeah. And then I thought of another very fun, silly idea, and it was great. Mr. Blue Design also saying, find something that inspires you and make it. When the Ravenlock book came out, I was very inspired to make a Dr. Frankenstein artificer based on the medic from Team Fortress 2. Great idea. What's the next character you want to play in a Second Wind campaign? I don't know, because I don't know what my next Second Wind campaign will be, where I'm a player. So it really depends on the campaign. because it's like, you know, what setting is it in? What are the tones we're going for? What system are you using? Hey, Jewelro. Oh, Gildan X says I can fall out of love with character concepts pretty quickly. Sometimes bump into the rule restrictions. We thought uh, that too, and we nerfed it. Yeah, yeah. Other times, theme conflicts. Yeah, all valid. Hey, Beth, you're Audette. I'm probably saying that wrong, but hi. How are you doing? Welcome here for your first time. How am I doing? I'm doing great. Don't worry about it. All right, I won't. Jesse, have you ever played a centaur character? No. And I think it would be very fun. I think it would be more fun to play a centaur that wasn't a horse back half, but was like a different animal back half, because I don't really like horses. But I'd still play a normal centaur. All right. So does that answer your question, Golden Yetic? Centaurs and fishes I flashback. Well, there's the centaurs, and then there's the whatever the opposite ones were called that were also centaurs. Catar. That could be fun. Could be Mr. Tumnus. Could be a Mr. Tumnus. Ever had like a dramatic heroic sacrifice to retire a character? Oh, not on purpose. I did have a character who used their hero point to go out of turn to push someone out of the way of an AoE attack. Um, because I was like, my character has a high dex score. I bet I could make the save. And then I didn't, and I died. That character absolutely got obliterated by that thing. He did not make his dex score, his dex save. So my goal was not to go out in a blaze of glory, but I did go out sacrificing myself. Oh, good. I'm glad, Gelden Yadik. Yay. Also, I still need to play Baldur's Gate 3. Um. Oh, Bathier Annette saying, "Don't worry about being perfect in your character." I think that's also true. I think when you have the idea of the thing you want, it doesn't have to be completely fleshed out. Have room to grow, have your merits, your flaws, um, and have the ability to change some stuff. I think that's important. I think it also helps a ton. Hippotar. That'd be cool. I'm into Hippotar. Half hippopotamus, half person. They're not fast. Not at all. We answered Evan's question. We answered Gildan Yedek's question. Wait. Where were the ones that were in here? Oh, okay, there it is. Sorry, I had several things open. Boop. There's a new question. My players get session-ending decision paralysis in the dungeon of the Mad Mage. Anything I can do to help them not treat it like it's life or death. Okay, I just saw this. We're going to get to this other question. Commander Kaiju's call for help in a moment. Oh, and 20 thoughts saying also if something about your character feels off or not fun for you, change it. If you're a GM, let the players change it. We spend too much time in D&D to be for it not to be a fun experience. Yeah, I totally agree. If you're like, this is how I wanted to run the character and it's not working out, yeah, absolutely change it. And I agree, DMs, please give some grace to your players who wanted to try something and it turns out it didn't work out. That's been a problem for me sometimes where it's like, I don't know how a system works and I want to do a thing and I try to build towards it and it turns out I misunderstood a concept or something. And it's like, oh, well, now I wanted to be a pro wrestler and I put too many points in this one thing instead of this other thing. And then my DM was like, no, you can't change it now. It's like, but you knew what I was trying to do. Like, let that change some. Maybe like within a single digit amount of sessions, maybe a handful of sessions, but like eventually. So my players are getting decision paralysis in a dungeon. I think an easy way to start that to like, just have a physical timer. Be like, you have 1 minute to decide what to do. And then that's what happens. And if you don't say anything at the end of the minute, then you're just standing still and something will happen to you. And have that, they do a thing and you can fudge it a little bit. Whatever happens, it wasn't that bad. They opened the door and there were no traps on the other side. You know? You can show them through play that they can do things and it's not a death sentence. I don't know, are these a new group? Do you know if they're coming from like a real gotcha DM that was like always trying to murder them with surprise traps? Like what environment are they coming from that like they might feel like they have to do this or else? And you can show them, no, they don't have to. You could also just say it and be like, hey, we can only spend so much time deliberating on this. So like, what do you want to do? It's not going to end the campaign. Like, just communicate with them. Tell them that you're not in it to surprise kill them. That sure, there's going to be some traps in the dungeon. There's going to be things, but like a single choice isn't going to just get them booted from the group. Benathis, also Benathis. That's not even how you say that. Balathier. Also saying time limits. Yep. Gives some additional options. That's also really good. Be like, oh, you have a choice in front of you. Do you take the stairs or do you take the slip and slide? Which one do you take? Rather than how do you proceed? Give them options that they can choose rather than just an open-ended whatever. Just a reminder, if you start up this Jeopardy theme song, you owe royalties. Good to know. These are my friends from high school. I've known them for 20 years. Treat this like it's a meth house with shotgun traps. They've never been this timid. Maybe that might be a good thing. Maybe they are extremely invested in their characters. And so they don't want anything bad to happen. Or maybe they just listen to a podcast where everybody died because of one whoops trap. And they're like, uh-oh, that's how D&D games are. Yeah. Communicate to them what you actually want to happen, that you don't want to just murder them for fun. and then don't murder them for fun. Don't say that and then have surprise it was a trap and you're all dead. And then give them a time limit and show them that they can progress and the worst thing probably won't happen. The worst thing shouldn't happen with a single event. Like the worst thing happening needs to be like you did several things to fuck up this hard. Like that's important. Discord is saying honestly, just help us not trap. Yeah, communication, communication, and communication. Very important. So yeah, does that answer your question? Oh, it's say for failing forward. Discordia. Yes. Absolutely implement failing forward. They do a thing. Uh-oh. It was a trap. It doesn't just automatically stop them. Someone falls through a pit and now they took damage as they fell 30 feet into a room, but wouldn't you know? God, that's the room they were looking for. Huh, fancy that. Everybody else needs to find a safer way to get down there other than just falling 30 feet, but they have failed forward. Progression was not stopped because of failure. I will advocate for failure forward at any point, anytime, anywhere. Also, the failing can be fun. Talk with them. Yeah, that's a good idea. Annihilation or ball pit. Discord is saying, okay, you failed your strength check, which means you succeed in breaking in, but you left a clue as to who you were, which will come back to bite you later. Yeah, that's really good. It's a great example of failing forward. They did thing, but not how they meant to. Got some good ideas, which is great because we play in 2 hours. Right. Well, good news. I'm glad we got to your question right away. Failures can be obstacles, not hard stops to the tempo. Totally agree. Discord is saying I've been reading up on COD. I don't know what COD is. Call of Cthulhu games, and the whole take a dramatic failure for a beat mechanic is a great encouragement for failing forward. Ooh, nice. Oh, Chronicles of Darkness. Thank you. Is that the World of Darkness, but slightly different because it's different? Whatever. It's like a different edition. But it's a VTM and all that. Mage, werewolf, vampire, World of Darkness, but slightly different. That thing I just said. Stromad, I am glad that answered your question. It's the one with less meta plots and different versions of splats. Oh, okay. All right, we're going to move on to Cthulhu's question. Not Cthulhu's question. Kaiju's question. I've owned Sea of Thieves TTRPG for years and have wanted to actually play it with people, but cannot wrap my head around the dice system because I was raised on D&D called the Avast system. Fun fact, I have played the Sea of Thieves RPG, so I do know the system that you're talking about. Honestly, if you're having trouble understanding a system, one of the I think tabletop books are consistently very bad at teaching readers the game. That is an extremely prevalent and annoying thing about the hobby. It is not just D&D. It is not just Sea of Thieves. So many games are bad at this. Even ones that I love. I will gush about Fate any second of the day that you want me to. I don't think its rulebook is the best written. I think it could be a lot better and a lot more concise. Like the size of it is for the amount of rules it covers, it could be shrunk down. And I love that system. I think it's one of the best. But yeah, the Avast system is kind of weird, and if you're just used to D&D, it was easier for me because I played so many other types of games that like a new system is like, oh yeah, throw out everything you know, got it. You might see some connective tissue from other RPGs you've played, but just expect new things. If you are used to exactly one way, it is harder to start learning other things. I think the best way to learn it is to look up how to play. I think that there are third party people, and this becomes a problem if it's not a popular enough system for someone to do this. I assume Sea of Thieves might be. Um, but look up a video on how to play that, and listening to a podcast or watching an actual play or something of people playing that system. That I think is, well, it can be annoying because you have to, it's a much longer thing. It's like, oh, this 5 hour podcast, I'm going to listen to it. You probably don't have to listen to the whole thing, but they will hopefully be playing it hopefully correctly enough to where you can understand it. And then in reading the rules, you can understand, oh, okay, this is how this is supposed to work. That's slightly strange compared to how I read it, but okay, this makes sense. And then once you understand that part, then this other thing that also had that weird wording now makes sense. I think that's the best way to do it. Um, or if you are having trouble with it based, not being able to do it with the rules, then that's try number two is videos and actual plays and podcasts of people playing the system. Um, does that answer your question? Also, I'm curious about if other people have an answer of like wrapping your head around a system. Also, if you know someone who plays that system, just ask them to explain it to you. That's how I've learned about half of the RPGs I know is just someone goes, here's how to play it. Discordia, yeah, you were playing that with me. And ultimately, I agree. I didn't. Discord is saying Sea of Thieves tabletop we played together, and that just wasn't enough game for me. And I agree. I feel like some of the simplicity of like how actions and attacks and all that worked was just too simple, and didn't have enough dynamic range, um, and like ultimately wasn't as fun. And I think it was more built around ship combat, which I don't even remember if we got to because we didn't play. We played like 3 or 4 sessions. uh, Murasaki saying a quote from Howard Taylor saying failure is not an option, it is mandatory. The option is whether or not you let failure be the last thing you do. It's a good one. Hey, Al and Alice. I'm glad you're here. Does that answer your question, Kaiju? Maybe? Yes? No? Are you still here? Who knows? Well, you commented not long ago, so as far as I can tell, Vampire the Masquerade has a similar feel with the critical success / failure. I don't even remember how Sea of Thieves works with that, but yes, that helps. Okay, good. And like I, I wish there was a better answer because man, the onboarding is so important, and TTRPGs can be so bad at it. It's a thing we have to change. Ooh, Lonya Kun, Ilone Loki Kun. That's a great question. I'm gonna okay. I had things in order and like whatever. Some of these were in Discord, so now like live questions are taking priority. Sorry, everybody in Discord. uh, Linonia, Lena, Loki, Coon. Tell me how to say that. Says, how do you feel about players keeping character secrets from other players at the table? And is having a character secret important to you in your character creation or running a game? Um, Lena, Loki, Coon. Okay, got it. So it is just those three words. Nice. Um, I I don't think it's important in the sense of like, oh, Kaiju, I'm really glad it helped. Yay. I don't think it's important in the sense of like you have to have it, but I think it can be cool. For those who watch Adventurous Nigh, for the spoilers, uh, Yahtzee's character was a or is a changeling, and he kept that from the group for a while until I learned it in game, and then I also learned it as a player when we had like a little mind meld thing, and it was like, oh, fun, interesting. Um, I think and I felt like that was played in a way that worked. It was central to that character, to Mortimer's story, that he was a changeling who was trying to hide the fact that he was a changeling. It did not affect most interactions with other people other than to keep that secret. And that was no one knew, so it was really not that big of a deal. It wasn't constantly showing up. And he wasn't using another big part of it is he wasn't using that secret to like get one over on us or like be able to do something except for like a cup maybe like once be able to do something that was like unexplainable or like why the heck is this happening, we're just confused now. um where it was a character thing, not necessarily a story thing. And then as it came out and everybody at the table learned he was a changeling, but the characters still didn't know, that was very fun. Because you have, Casey was able to make like several jokes about like, wait, what about, and like would say a thing directly referencing the fact that he knew that the character was a changeling. Uh, and it was just a fun little bit. But then the character, in game, the character didn't know. So I think it can be fun when used correctly. If it's like I have a secret that I'm going to try and murder one of the other PCs, bad. That's a bad secret. Don't do that. Um, if you have a thing that's like uh, I'm secretly evil and I'm doing all these machinations and I'm going to become a villain, that can work if everybody at the table is okay with, and that, can kind of, I'm not going to say ruin the surprise, because if it's a shitty surprise, then it was already ruined. Um, but if everybody's okay with that idea of like, oh, we might have some like player PvP in this game, is everybody okay with that? Oh, there's going to be, everyone might have a secret objective. Is everybody at the table okay with that? Like, these are things to bring up beforehand for people to like get on board with. And then know, oh, there might be something. It might be silly. It might be small. It might be big. And that people know what to expect. If that's the case and everybody's on board with it, awesome. Then someone can secretly be trying to murder each other. Great. Everybody's here for it. One of the player characters is actually the henchman for the BBEG, and the final fight of the campaign, they are going to change sides, and it's going to be the BBEG and that player and that character against the rest of the party. If everybody signed up for that kind of a scenario, directly or indirectly, you know, okay. It can also be a matter of like a real, like the traders or something, where it's like one of you is secretly the the evil, the antagonist's henchman, and you will turn against everybody else, but you don't know who it is, and the goal is to keep that a secret. And so you can play that and like have that be. I really like having character knowledge and player knowledge. I like knowing more about the world than my character does and playing into that, because then I can, if I know that there are secrets, I can play gullible in a more fun way. And someone does something kind of shifty, and I'm like, oh, well, we all trust each other. Of course you can do that. It's fun. Murdering other PCs might be mothership. Good, good for horror narrative. Yeah, like that. If you're playing a mothership game where like insanity or like mind control or things like that, or a fantasy game or whatever, where those are options, like, oh yeah, you might just turn on people, possibly against your will. Discord is saying there's no point in having a secret if it's never going to come out. I think if it's important to like your character, that's fine. I think I kind of feel like it should be okay. Like you should be able to have a secret that if it never comes out, that's fine. That your character isn't built around this secret being discovered. It is something that is informing your character's decisions. It is something that is informing your role playing. It is something that, just like the 600-page backstory you wrote that no one else is going to read, it's just giving you information on how to play your character and how they would react to stuff and how they would move forward. I think unless the game is about discovering secrets, for the overwhelming majority of the time, you shouldn't have to reveal that secret for the character to be cool or useful or do the story arc that you want. Oh my gosh, so many Twitch chats that I have to catch up on now. I was like, I'll say this quickly and then I won't get overwhelmed with chat. And then I did not shut up. And now there's so much chats. I don't know if he asked the Zodi question. Oh, yes, the Zodi question is on the list. Alice. I kind of thought, because they had mentioned that it was something Alan or something close to it. So I thought that might have been you. Yes, I do have that question on my list. Speaky saying, isn't that good for the story and the character arcs to have a secret? Could be interesting. Like Mortimer's character being changing. It can be. Again, I feel like if it's important to the character but not important to your story arc or to the character, that it gets discovered. But it can be, that could also be fun. Like, oh, I definitely have a secret that I want people to know about. But again, the degree of the secret needs to be something that everybody's on board with. If it turns out that you're secretly royalty, all right, that comes out and it's like, I am a princess. I was really hoping you wouldn't find out. Bummer. Yes, I lied to you. Like, that's a thing of like, how are people going to take that? Like, that's a thing that also you should be willing to not dictate how people take it. You are secretly, God, I've still got to catch up on chat. You are secretly the princess, and everybody is fighting against the monarchy, as they should, no kings, and you are outed as a member of the royal family. You don't get to say, hey, everybody at the table, you got to be cool with me after finding that out. You should be okay with, like, everybody's mad that all those characters are mad that you lied to them. And all those characters don't trust you because you're a member of the royal family and they don't want you as part of the party. That's also reasonable. Now, player wise, might be like, hey, let's work out how we build this trust back. What would these characters need to do to get trust back? And then that's, an external conversation you can have above table between the players. And then that could be, a fun thing of like, well, here's how some steps that we can attempt to do. But yeah, that like they might just be upset and not trust you anymore. And that, hey, maybe that's how that character gets retired. That there's no coming back from that. That secret was too big. You can't dictate how people react to the secret. Balter saying secret. It's up to the players whether they want the secret to be or not be at my table. I don't expect it, but I think it's perfectly normal. Your character is it's their story. It's yours to explore. Main thing is character is fun exploring it. Yeah, I think so. Oh, and if it's going to be good mention, Melith here. If it's problematic, it's not going to be fun. Yeah. 20 thoughts saying big session 0 question. Is there conflict, secrets, in-game arguments, or no discussion? 20 thoughts, very good. That's what was mentioned before. Like, this is, you gotta establish this at session 0. Very important. Mm-hmm. 20 thoughts saying some people enjoy characters with their personal drama, where I'm deeply, and some are, not you, but some are deeply uncomfortable with it. Yeah. Some people do not want that. And, like, that's valid. That's why it's a thing to bring up in session 0. Bye, Gildan Yannick. Thank you very much. Have fun. I hope your lunch was tasty. I had a Bill Thayer says I character as imposter from a failed timeline in one campaign. It didn't affect the party negatively, but it was very for them. But it was very fun for them to learn why his accounts of history didn't line up, and it's a cool repercussion to everyone who was able to explore. Oh, that is fun. Yeah, like a thing like that where you know you're not 100% truthful about your past, but it's not the biggest deal. That's pretty cool. But also, yeah, a valid thing of how are people going to react. Speaking of the mushroom lady, can't remember her name right now, is bringing up. They didn't want the party to know. Oh, Celia. Yes. That is one of those things. 20 Thought says, it's unless it's my secret is that I'm trying to murder the party member originally. But dang it. Now I'm all like, what do I do? Yeah, but even if your original goal was to murder someone, like I was a hired hitman, and now I'm like, I don't know. Like that still, you could understand why the party wouldn't trust you, or trust why the other characters wouldn't trust that character after that comes out. Even if you had a change of heart, you were still lying. Character seeking is going to be a lot of fun, but yeah, you got to think about how it affects the whole group. Absolutely, Deeps. Totally agree. Anytime someone just tells me to send them character ideas before anything else happens, I'm out. Oh. It's Lena Loki Kuhn says, I've definitely done a secret changeling thing, and my current longest character only recently got revealed as a secret warforged pretending to be human at first, but multiple persona ultimately due to being on the run. Yep. Yeah, not being what you say you are can be a fun little secret. Oh, the lich rotted your leather skin off. That's how you got revealed. That's fun. Dang, that lich. 20 says if character secret is important, then you absolutely should be working on it with the GM, so that the GM at any point making it relevant. Yep. I think someone else knowing the secret is probably important again, unless it isn't a huge deal, like it's part of your backstory. It's like if it comes out, cool. If not, it's just informing how you play. Mm-mm-mm. Ooh. to the it doesn't count if it doesn't come up, it doesn't matter. And the speakeasy says, does it count if it comes up after your character has been killed off? That would be fun. Then you find out that they were a hitman, and it's like, well, why didn't they kill me? And then it's like, did they have a change of heart? Did they not get up to the kill part of the plan yet? Gotta find out. Turn the secret into an active RP thing, says 20 Thoughts. Make it part of the character. Yeah, I think it should influence the character for sure. Whether it comes out or not, it should be part of the influence of how they interact. Hey, everybody at the table, you gotta be cool with me. I should start every game like that. That's funny. Sometimes your past isn't relevant until it is, says Discordia. Having a fun side character introduced is a neat idea. It's true. Vincent Adult Man, the D&D character. I like, what was it? Hugh... Norm Al Human, like a 4-name character as a Warforged or a robot, is Norm Al Hugh Man. You're a normal human. Definitely not a robot. Or Norm Allman. Normal man. Turns out there's a very bad hitman, and they've been having some Wile E. Coyote. And they've been Wile E. Coyoteing the entire campaign. That's funny. I kind of love that. Abby Normal? Love Abby Normal. Also, if you have an idea for a character with a big secret and your GM is trying to work with you to bring the idea to what's your vision, matters to your character, at the very least, yeah. Yeah, I think, again, this is for me personally, I like having secrets with characters versus secrets with players. Unless player secrets are part of the campaign, like you're supposed to have secrets, I really like informing everybody, like, oh, by the way, I'm actually 3 kobolds in a trench coat. And that's fun because of these reasons. Versus being like, I'm actually evil and secretly screwing everyone over all the time, and I will tell no one. Why do you keep hitting enemies when you're when you roll low instead of high? Special class feature? That's funny. You're just missing your actual target and hitting the targets that are attacking them. I love it. Chris Hodgson saying, I played an evil character who always had schemes. It was all above table, so the other players got to enjoy the plots even if the characters didn't know. Oh yeah, absolutely. I think that's fun. It's way more enjoyable. Okay, Zadi. Also, does that answer your question? From 20 minutes ago when we started this? Because the next one is it's a beefy question. It's a beefster. I wonder if someone of the secret keeping, whether or not you have faith in people, not mitigating with that knowledge. Oh, interesting. Glad to have a discussion. Okay, yay, cool. No, your question's valid. I'll summarize it. I'm gonna ask, but also like I'm gonna try and summarize, but ask like if that's correct or if you have any more information on it. Richard Ebby saying I had a character whose backstory involved escaping from slavers who separated him from his family. When DM introduced the MacGuffin, the villain wanted basically a magical nuke. I got the okay for him to attempt to give the MacGuffin to the bad guy if he agreed to use it in the area where the slavers were, and I didn't go uh, into the game planning to betray the party. But that's true. That wasn't a thing of like, my secret is I'm going to betray the party, but that, yeah, something happened. And that, like, that's also a bit of a, is the party okay with this? You don't necessarily want to do that, where it's just everybody's trying to have a good time and then you betray everybody and then they're upset. But, like, yeah, that does make sense. And that's a thing of, a thing you did became a secret, possibly. Or you might have been like, hey, I did this thing. You could also not make it a secret and be like, I did this because I thought it was the right thing. And that could be a big moment. Sure, I'll use I'll use it on the area where the slavers are. ... Two. Yeah, yeah, I'll bomb 2 areas now. Oh, sadly we never got that far in the campaign. Oh. Okay, so Zadi, not Alan Alda. That's a actor. Alan Dallas. So is saying, whoop, they've been working on a tabletop RPG for a few years now, and one of the issues they're running into is that it's a cooperative game. They need to take insight from people, but everyone has completely different ideas of what they want out of it, and has a different vision. And they want, some people want more. They want more complication, but simple ruling. And how do you keep the singular vision and keep players? It's a great question. It's a question that everybody who is making a game has to answer. It's very important. Essentially, if they want more complication but also make it simpler to run, they are asking for the put it all in one bag but don't be heavy. You have to give and take between complexity and simplicity, between straightforwardness and obfuscation. Through all these different things, you have to find a easy bag of holding. Well, you got me there. I guess just put it in a bag of holding. And it's in one bag and it's light. There's all these things that you have to push and pull. There's always a lever that needs to be, adjusted one way or another, or a dial that can be turned a certain degree. I think one of the things of let's not start that again. We're not discussing the bag of holding today. It's okay. If you have, question isn't about generalization. Get specific. Crime Bastards, good point. Is there a specific thing you want to bring up as an example? While I'm giving a more broad idea, because that would be helpful. I think one of the things that for building a game is that you have your strong theming. Like, what do you want it to feel like? What do you want it to look like? Do you want whenever the gunslinger pulls his gun out, he's going to shoot whatever he's firing at? That's a theme. You're going to build mechanics around that. Versus, now here's the targeting system. And then, you can fail, but if you have this, it'll give you a bonus. And if you, it's like, there are games where if you use weapon, you hit with weapon. That's how it works. That's how the game is built. And that's important, and it works because that's how it's built. So you need to know what your goals are for that, or you need to, what your theming is and how you want to do it, how you want to get those goals. So you want to set goals. I wanted to have, when I've built systems and stuff, basically just have a Post-it note that says, I want everything to use the same dice roll. So, like, I want everything to be 2d4. Okay, cool. I want to have magic in this game. How do I make magic when everything is rolling 2d4 for hit? Okay, I have the base setup of how a skill check works. I don't want combat to be different than a skill check or a magic casting magic. How do I make that work? You cannot please all of those people, so you need to understand what you want to build and aim for that. And then make that very clear for the players who are playing it so that their feedback can gear you towards that goal. If you're like, I just want to make a fun RPG, and then 6 people are going to expect 6 different things. If you are like, I want to make an RPG that feels like an episode of Cowboy Bebop. All right, we've narrowed it in. I want to make an RPG that feels like an episode of Cowboy Bebop, and I only want you to roll a dice when you don't want to. All right, cool. These are now expectations that are setting. We're narrowing in on how this game should feel and should run. So now feedback when someone says, I think you should roll 60-10 whenever a loud noise happens. Like, that's okay. That's your opinion, but that's over here. This is the goal. We don't need this comment. Or how could we use this but like move it in the direction we want? That's going to be it's hard. It's making a game. It's very important of like understanding how all those things work and how to find the mix of standing your ground of how you want something to play and listening to feedback to the thing you wanted is not working and you need to change it. Or the thing you wanted isn't as good as you wanted. Or the thing you wanted is directly clashing with these 2 other things you wanted and you gotta cut one of them or change one of them severely. That's game building. You're always going to be twisting levers and pulling dials and doing whatever else to change that and to make it feel like how you want the player to feel playing the game. You want action to feel tight and fast and quick and awesome, and you want people to be empowered. Awesome. You realize that a dice pool system with exploding dice is just too much time. You realize that placement, how you're doing distance and placement, is too much calculation and too much checking line of sight, and you got to change it. Focus on that goal. Tell people what that goal is so that as you're getting feedback, it's all funneled towards what you want. Does that make sense? That was a lot of words. And also I asked a whole ass question before that, so that I'm going to check and see if you answered. Oh, we got 2 more super chats too. Ooh. Paula Fish, that's a good question. Oh, I will try to get to that. Hang on, putting it on the list. Okay, checking up on Twitch. Bill here saying to Zadi's question. When pulling together players for a campaign, GM needs to have a pitch or several, and the players need to agree if they're interested. The players have things that they'd like to add, but in general, a matter of compromise and shared excitement, not trying to make a casserole out of what every person wants. Personally, do a little questionnaire before the campaign, and then a pitch, a campaign. That's a nice middle ground. Yeah. I agree with all of that. Catching up on chat. Oh, Deep's dinner time. Enjoy dinner. Is it a crunch question about the... It's a mixture of everything, I think. It's both crunch and fluff. It's just making a game, which requires both, I think. One without the other is not fun, because either you just have a story with no game, or you have a game, no story. Still checking up on the not the Discord, this is Twitch. Hey, Gargadargus. You're a hot mess today? We all get to be a hot mess sometimes. So I don't see Alan Dallas answering for something specific unless I missed it. But answering for a specific thing they were looking for. Hey, Miss Harmony. It's a cold mess today. Some days we're all, you might be a cold mess. We're all a cold mess someday. Okay. Allison says, I suppose I was trying for fun D&D feel in a sci-fi replacing magic with tech. I use XCOM as a base, but it got out of hand somewhat. Tried to figure out how I should tie up the start plate test. Okay. Yeah, so looking at, I think one of the big things too is just testing. If you have it at XCOM based and you want to try something and then the thing got out of hand, okay, that's like, it stinks when you go, oh no, this got out of hand. But if you figure out it gets out of hand before other people get involved, like you realized, oh, hey, I need to change combat. This is going to take too long. Before you're in your test play and you realize it's been an hour and everybody has had one turn, combat is taking too long. You're so ahead of the game if you can figure that out beforehand and then start trying to figure out how to solve that problem. So the fun feel of a sci-fi. So when you say fun feel, what do you want? Like, what do you mean by fun feel? Because you could just take, what was it? Dark Matter from Mage Hand Press, who was on here, Mike. That's D&D, but in space. They have a whole book about it. And it's like, you could just that's just straight 5e in space. There was another one that came out that was 5e, but in space. Or 5.5e, or whatever the heck it's called. So, like, when you want something fun, like, what is it that you want? And how do you achieve that? Because, like, I know me, I don't like Dark Matter, like the show. God, not enough love for that show. Oh my gosh, I love Dark Matter. If you ever get freaking the chance to watch Dark Matter, the sci-fi show, it's amazing. All 3 seasons. Not the point. Where was my point? I got distracted. Dark Matter. Dang it. Nope, totally lost. Oh well. Yeah, if you're trying to figure out what you want it to do. Oh, I remember now. I'm not a big fan of combat in 5e. There's too much little fiddly bits happening. I want it to either be generally I want it to be lighter. I don't want to have as many like, oh, well, if I use this ability with this spell, but it only activates for these reasons. And then if I have a reaction, but I use this other thing that uses my reaction in 2 turns for time, like it's a lot of bookkeeping that I don't enjoy. So it's like, oh, you want to change that. You want to have faster combat. Okay. See the pain points of what's making combat slow and focus on changing them. Like, and that's one of your goals. Faster combat. Got it. How am I going to do that? Everything is working towards that goal. Existing systems you like. Also, there's lots of really great systems. I'm never going to fret someone making their own system. Like, I think it's really fun to do and a great creative outlet. But there are a bunch of fun sci-fi systems, too. Also depends on how much you want to put up with dice versus improv. Yeah. Yeah, how swingy do you want your dice system? Oh man, there's so much. Group of people doing jobs. Jobs could be anything but dangerous element. Not utopia, but not dystopia. Generally could be good guy having fun story arcs. Gladly show system in Discord later. Cool. Yeah, I feel like have a strong vision of what you want, the theme, the goals, how you want it to feel while play. Build everything towards that. When you're doing playtesting, tell everybody what your goal is, what the theme is, what you want feeling to be, and that you do want feedback to like help in that direction. And then that way, when someone says, "Oh, I think combat could be faster or could feel more satisfying if this," you can see if that can apply to your goal or if you need to shift your goal a little bit. Like, oh, I made it too simple. Everybody hits automatically when they pull a weapon, and all weapons do base damage, and that there's no change. So there's no unpredictability in combat, and that's not fun. Okay, I gotta change something. I need some level of variability in there. Maybe damage changes some. Maybe chance to hit changes some. Lots of things you could do. What fits that goal? Does that answer your question? It's a big question. That is not an answer in the sense of like, well, you could just go build a game now. Like that is a brief summary of like kind of an issue that you will have throughout the entire time you are making this game and that you will have after it's made and you want to do some sort of patch. Answer is focus. My great enemy is just kidding around. I think I get what you're saying. Having focused goal and the mind when design. Yes. Having a focused goal. Write 3 goals that you want for your game. You put it on a post-it note on your monitor. You put it on a post-it note on your DM screen when you're running it. And everything needs to work towards that. Don't be afraid of changing stuff. Don't be afraid of undoing things. Don't be afraid of anything. Just be willing to learn. Baby steps. Focus on one small aspect. Yeah. Focus on small things. Focus on big things. Just focus on the whole thing. Also, making games is difficult. Give yourself some leeway. Oh my gosh. Okay. Oh, thanks, Gray Shadow. Have you ever tried to port rules from one game to another? Yes. That's weird. It's fun, and you kind of got to play with like how a rule works in one system versus another. But yeah, absolutely, I've done that, and I think it can be a um, really fun experiment of like how to do stuff differently and how I also really like it because it shows often how intent certain mechanics were in the game that you are changing, and that when you change this little thing, it has ripple effects throughout that were actually accounted for on like why it was the way it was. And when you change something, you realize, oh, this is a big problem. Now I have to fix it. Key to quick combat in 5e is players ready to go. That does help, but even then, there's so much ambiguity in like certain things where it's like, I want to do this. DM, does this interpretation of the rules sound correct to you? No. Why not? How do we find middle ground? Yes, it does. Great. Here's how I'm going to draw this 50-foot wall I can create. Like, even when you are ready to go, there's so much stuff that's like, oh, that you have to still deal with. Of, oh, I'm going to turn 40 feet of the playfield into difficult terrain, and I can draw in 5-foot squares all 40 of those feet as long as they're connected. Cool. Here's what I'm drawing, and how it's going to work. That just takes time. It's a whole thing. Bill here saying, quote, I want my players to never feel like they wasted a turn, unquote, is a thing you might think. So maybe the system with 100% accuracy is never missing, but damage rolls and damage mitigation. Yeah, I think something like I never want you to feel like you wasted a turn is a solid thing. I just never want to feel like I wasted a turn in general, but that happens sometimes in games. Lena Look, who's saying, here's a personal preference question. Let the dice decide the charisma persuasion checks or require the player to actually convince the player/DM above table, specifically for PvP checks, or third mixed option. Allow a really good player's speech success without a roll. I generally do. I always lead with role playing. I say, what do you say? And then if it's extremely good, I might give them a bonus. But I always lead with, what do you say? Like, what do you do? The role playing informs me of what they're doing. Then they roll, and depending on that, lets me know, oh, okay, they rolled well. It went exactly how they expected it to go. They rolled poorly. Here are some outside elements they did not expect that were the reason why they rolled poorly. I also really like the dice showing external effects versus you failed a persuasion check and you threw up all over them instead of talking to them. Or, I failed a perception check. My eyes were shut. No, there's something external that has affected your roll. You might have been doing fine, but that person is just in a real mood today and they're not having any of your BS. So, like, that check, that persuasion check ain't going to fly. You did try to do a really good stealth check. You were climbing the wall. A guard was out of place and spotted you. It's not your fault that they were going against the perfectly calculated guard shift positioning you did. They were just late coming back from the bathroom and then spotted you on the way. So, very much outside forces. So that's how I do it. But I think it's personal preference. I also am willing to like play with that if I'm playing with a person who's not good at role playing. They can roll first and then kind of let that guide them on what they say, but most of the time I ask for that first. And if it's PvP, I always feel like it's players have agency, and like unless it's a sanctioned PvP game where it's like I might use is everybody okay with players using altered thoughts or whatever on each other, but that you can't just mind control someone. You can roll really well. You could roll, even with NPCs, you could roll the highest possible persuasion check, and they just might not give a shit. And you didn't succeed because they don't care. You had the world's best argument. It doesn't matter. People have agency. That wasn't like a whole question, but I answered it kind of like it was. Jack's very good at that, says Paul. Be open to bullshit. It might not work, but that doesn't mean don't try. Yeah, exactly. Sinos the Hedgehog 2000 with $5 dono. Thank you so much. It says joke question. Is all serious questions here. taking this seriously. Can I fireball my entire team and do the campaign all by myself if they're all being annoying and smug protagonists and I'm sick of their shit? No, you can't. You have to talk to them like they're people and inform them that they're being smug protagonists and that you are sick of their shit. Um, no, but yeah, honestly, just talk to them. Like I've played games like that, and sometimes it's a vibe thing of like everybody else wants to be little chaos goblins, and there's one person trying to keep order, and it's like if they just also joined Team Chaos, maybe with a new character, everybody would be having more fun. And that's just it's a chaos game. Or you might be like, this isn't how I want to play, and I don't want to play with this group anymore. That's also valid. I have played with people that are perfectly fine people that I don't want to play RPGs with because they play it in a way that I don't enjoy. And that's fine. I play in a way they don't enjoy. So we just don't play RPGs together. We hang out and do other stuff. That's my question. Can't fireball them. Unless it's a sanctioned PvP game. Then I guess you could fireball them. But other than that, no. But also, I guess for your, not to dig too deep into the joke, the thing described as a joke question, but like, what is annoying about them? And ask. Like, talk to them about it. Again, have a above table conversation and be like, hey, I'm having some problems with this. Like, there are people I've played with that's like, oh, they interrupt other players, or like they just butt into someone else's roleplay thing, and it's like, hey, you should stop. Like, this is unsportsmanlike or whatever. This is not fun for the table. Because maybe they haven't realized it yet. Talk to people. Talking better than fireball. Maybe fireball if that doesn't work out. But they're saying I treat charisma encounters like a scale. Target can be hostile, neutral, or friendly. Can raise or lower them. Bad rolls are an obstacle. Yeah, I feel like it's very much, again, it's people. You have that scale of like, the person just got back from the dentist today and they're upset. So it doesn't matter what you're going to say. They're going to be mad because they have to get a root canal now. Like, that's outside your element. I also really like the other thing of like having specifically NPCs who do not like suave people. And so a high check is like works opposite for them, where they're like, this guy and his language. And then that's really fun because then you can have the low charisma, bad at talking people be the face for the encounter. And like there's something endearing about that the NPC finds about this person who isn't just trying to blow smoke up their butt. That's fun too. Murasaki gives $10. Holy crap, thank you so much. This says, how do people feel about games like Traveler, which actually forces characters to generate a backstory during character generation because it's how skills are determined? I haven't played Traveler. So I don't know. Is it, if you're still here, can you answer? Is it like you get random traits? Like you roll and it's like, oh, I'm an expert in spear fishing because I rolled that. And now I just have to figure out how that's part of my backstory. Or do you choose certain things and it's part of your backstory? Because I think games that force you to have a backstory is great. It's really, really good. Because it makes you think about the character more. So I think that's cool. If it's a thing of like it's completely random, I think that could be fine. I think that's what Mork Borg does too. Like you roll for what weapon you have and what traits you have and if you can use magic and what scrolls you have and what problems you have. And then it's built around you're going to get a mess of things and it's your job to figure out how that turns into a character. And if you know that going in, then it's very fun. If you go into it expecting, I'm going to build this character and here's all the things I'm going to use for the backstory, and then that's taken away from you and you're like, roll some tables and here's what happens, that's upsetting. So just knowing what you're getting into, how the game is played, I think it can be very fun. It says semi-random, like you pick a marine career path and you randomly succeed or fail at some roll, tables, benefits, and maluses. Oh, that's fun. Yeah, I think if that's clear that that's how character creation is going to go, I think that's great. Like, but again, you just have to be aware of it. When someone says we're playing Traveler, character creation has some variability in it, so you can't pick everything about your character. That's good to know going in. That's like a before session 0 thing, because I might session 0 I've got an idea for a character and then I come to the system and go, hey, guess what, you can't actually choose any of this for yourself. But like, yeah, I think that stuff's really cool if you know that's what you're getting into. And I think that's part of what makes different RPGs so much fun to play, is that you play a game that has, pre-made characters and you just have to pick one. You have games where you have randomly assigned things. You have games that you have semi-randomly assigned things. You want to be a Marine, a career path. What does that mean? Did you succeed or failure? Let that be determined by dice and then build a character out of it. And I like games where you choose literally every part of your backstory and all your talents and all your skills and all your stats by hand. And you go, yep, I want to be strong, putting all my points in strength. I don't have to worry about dice. I think they're all great. And I think playing all of them at different times is great. Much like playing lots of different genres of video games. It's better when you're not just sticking to one. And that's my spiel on why people should play more than just D&D. It's like a small game to do a backstory. That sounds great. I like that. A little backstory game. Or you randomly fail and get a military academy but end up with a drifter career path. That sounds fun. I like that. Again, just inform people of that's what the game is. I think I can answer this question quickly. So we're going to go to Paul's question. And I'm also curious what everybody else thinks. How do you account for failure? For example, you put a good plot point / mechanic, and your players can't get it because shit rolls. I think there's multiple ways to handle this. I'm very curious what other people do as well. But like, if there is something my players absolutely need, then it's not a matter of if they can pass a check or not. Like, they will learn that information. I think there is some information that you want that they just have to have. Now, what I like doing is having degrees of success. Here's the information that I need my players to know. I need my players to know if we're going to do a heist in a couple of sessions, I need my players to know that the MacGuffin that they're heisting is going to be at the Met Gala this weekend. I need them to know that or we can't move forward. Now, they get those shit rolls. Okay. They learn that. And then they stop listening to the conversation when they start talking about the security that's going to be there, how every news organization is going to have cameras there, how they've got these new drone cameras they're going to be flying around for 24-hour surveillance, but it's not really surveillance. It's like for a reality show that's going to be shot about it. But there will be constantly people watching. So there's all these things that would have been helpful. Oh, and Dracula will be there. I don't know, whatever. Those are all things that they don't get to know and that they get to be surprised by when they show up and Dracula's there and there's a lot of cameras and also it's the opening of Jurassic Park. I don't know. Whatever. Like, so you need some information of like, do your players need to know this? Then they will get that information. What else could they know? You could also have a little bit of play it into a little false information, a little bad information. It'll be at the Met Gala this weekend, but it's going to get flown in the day before and it's going to be sitting in the vault while no one's there. And then that information was incorrect and they bust in the day before and there's nothing in there. Oops. But they know where it'll be tomorrow. Like, you could kind of play with that if you want to. That might be too much of a oh no, this throws a wrench in their plan and now they can't do the actual thing, or they spent too much time doing this and now it's not fun that, you know, they didn't get that thing. But you want them to have information that they will get and information that they can get. That's how I feel about it. Checking up on chat. If it's something important, why roll? Yep. If they fail, succeed again later, says Speakeasy. Yeah, giving them another chance is another really good one. They didn't get that information the first time. Cool. There's another scenario where they can get that information. What have they missed out on? How much harder is the thing going to be because they missed it the first time? There's some level, there's some level of consequence for them missing it, but that they get another chance at it is also very good. Wholeheartedly agree with that. Beltier is saying similar thing. If they miss by a certain degree, they don't get extra information or secrets. We're about to heist in my campaign. It's been grueling. Yeah, heist can be really grueling. Gray Shadow saying, I think it depends on consequences of the mistake. If it's minor, you get to let it go. If it's critical, you rework the critical bit in response. Yep. I think that works too. Yeah, I think that I mean, we could probably, there's a bunch of different ways you could take this and like have fun answering it for another hour, but like I am running out of time, so we're not gonna go into all the details of it. It depends on the consequence of the shit. Oh, I already said that. Can players sneak team moves by Dungeon Master? Can players sneak team moves by the Dungeon Master, or does it have to be at that moment? Like, can they pull a Tony Stark with the Infinity Stones? You know, it doesn't seem in that moment. Oh, this is a completely separate question. Oh, I think, I mean, depending on Lil Alto, it depends on like the time, like the amount of time it takes to build a super suit Iron Man style is, I don't know how you're going to hide that from the DM, but there are small things that I know I've done in games, especially against Jack, and in other DMs, and that I've had done against me, not against me, but as players have done in games that I'm DMing, where they do pull one over on me, where I've given myself and them all the information they needed to concoct a plan that will 100% work if they pull it off. And I have no recourse on, like, well, no, that won't work because XYZ. But no, they've specifically asked set questions to make sure they know how a certain thing works so they can do this. And in which case, they pulled a fast one on me, and good job. I gave them all the tools they needed and they succeeded, and it was great. Oh, thanks, little Otto. You're very welcome. I managed to sneak a whole other question in there, or to answer a whole other question. All right, now I must go. I have things I must do. I will be back next week because that's what I do every Thursday. So, and a bunch of you do it every Thursday too, and I really appreciate that. So thank you. And if you have any more questions, feel free to join the Discord. Jump in there, chat about stuff. I gotta say, it was absolutely the coolest thing to see. Um, that I hadn't checked the Discord in a few days, and someone had asked a question, and a bunch of other people had jumped in and answered it, and like just like not answered it, but gave opinions and thoughts and stuff. And like I think that's so cool that it's a little space that people are comfortable asking questions, and that people are comfortable giving opinions and answers and stuff on. And that's not just like, it's the Jesse show and only me and no one else can talk in there. Like I really like that other people are open and chatting, and that it's not just like just me saying things. I think that's so cool. Um, like we're using silverware and chicken bones to make artificer tools. That exactly. Uh, or the one of the earliest things was using woodworking to exercise a bed from a ghost. That was a fun one. That fucking Jesse guy, always with the dinosaurs and the RPGs. That's me. The dinosaurs and the RPGs. That's my brand. All right, I will see you all around these parts uh, throughout the week, and I'll see you here next week. Bye.